Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Greg from Tales from the Pythian, back for part 3 of the Death House. So we're going to third floor. This week's video should be relatively shorter video, kind of like last week's was. And then we will get into the attic next week, and then the lower levels beyond that. So we're gonna have probably 2 to 3 more videos beyond this one, just for the Death House. Definitely one for the attic. Potentially one for the basement, probably 2. It's a bigger area, and again, I don't want to run these too terrible long. But anyway, here we are. We're going up to the third floor. So what have we done so far? All of the previous floors behind us. We are going to go backwards a little bit today, touch back on level 2 as it relates to a secret door I mentioned in the previous video that is locked. We're going to create the key to that today. That's going to unlock it. That's found up here on the third floor. We're going to use a module called Lock and Key that we installed last video to kind of facilitate that. It's a great module. I like it a lot. It's also system agnostic. I use it with my Shadow Dart games as well. So it's pretty cool. But at any rate, let's just go ahead and dive on in and see where we can get to today. So again, as a reminder, for the Death House, we're using Dragnacarta's rewrite with some tweaks and changes as I see fit to make them for how I want kind of my game to go, right? So we come up to the balcony, and on the balcony, really the only thing going on here is the animated armor. And let's see, I think I'm actually still on level 2 here. Yeah, let's go up to level 3. Level 3, okay. So here we are, level 3. We get up to level 3. When we get to the landing here in area 11, we have the animated armor right here, which we have turned off. I'll just kind of cursor over the art so you can see it down there. That art is by Benios Battle Maps for the animated armor. The token image is by Forgotten Adventures. So he's just hidden here. If we moved him, you can see there's a statue. So we're just putting it right on the statue and just hiding it. So it's sitting there. When they get up here, they just get some descriptions. If they get within 5 feet of that armor, it goes after them, tries to push them down this hole right here. If it's successful, they're going to take 2d6 damage for a 2-story fall all the way to the bottom. So pretty easy peasy there. Not much to deal with. So next, we're going to go into the master suite. So Dragnacarta obviously goes into a very, very nice description of this room, much better than the rules as written are. But in this room, there is a jewelry box. Rules as written, the jewelry box contains 2 gold rings, a platinum necklace, and that's it in the jewelry box itself. Dragnacarta's rewrite has the jewelry box, and it contains a piece of parchment and an amber shard, which is going to be the key to the door downstairs. So we're going to make a small tweak to that, and we're going to put both the jewelry items and the shard and the rolled up parchment. So I'm going to do theory crafting for a moment here. I think that part of the reason that he may have taken the jewelry out was maybe to not sell the amber shard as just another gem or piece of jewelry to be sold to maybe identify it as a key. I don't know that that's true or not. I want to leave the jewelry in there because when the players get to Bildrath's Mercantile a little later in Barovia, the cost of things there is very expensive. It's like twice the normal amount that's in the player's handbook. You'll remember when we started prepping, we used Pyram King's Gates of Barovia, which has an encounter with some Vistani, which robs our characters blind, and they don't have anything. They don't have any money. They don't have any weapons. We've been kind of trickle feeding them weapons to pick up along the way. And that's, again, if they find those things or pick them up. So here we're going to put all of the jewelry into the jewelry box. We're going to put the amber shard, and we're going to also put the roll of parchment. We're going to put it all in there, and give the players an opportunity to maybe accumulate some small amount of wealth prior to going to build wraths and, you know, paying through the nose for things. So let's just peek around here where we want to put it. I think maybe on one of these shelves beside the bed. So let's see. Here's our jewelry box. We'll just drop that onto the canvas and we'll take it in here. There we go. We'll make it just a smidge smaller, about like that. I think works for me. There we go. Just gonna lock that in place. Nope, not locked. I'm sorry, not locked. We want it open. We want it open. Never mind. That lock is a different lock. Okay, so now we're gonna put our items in here. So let's pop this guy open. The pile is empty, so let's fill it up. So I took the liberty of making the gold ring. There's 3 of those in there. And then there is the platinum necklace. And then there is the rolled piece of parchment. Now I also created a jewelry box item because the jewelry box itself is silver with gold filigree. So it has a value and can be taken. So if they take it, then I'll be able to drop that into some inventory as well. So gold ring, platinum necklace, rolled piece of parchment. So the rolled piece of parchment contains a note. And again, this is some more foreshadowing. So I did the same thing we did before. I created the item. I copied and pasted the text of the note or the letter in there. And this basically alludes to the beast and that it's got a name, and that if you hold this shard and speak the name of the beast, that you have a chance of kind of controlling it or it listening to you. And this goes a really long way into also identifying that this shard is something beyond a gem, right? That it has more importance. So there we go. Rolled piece of parchment. It's all in there for them to find. Excellent. So we also need now that key, right? So let's update this item pile. And we'll leave. And then we're going to bounce down to the second floor real quick. We're going to come back and put that shard in there in just a minute. So let's go down here. So there's a couple ways that you can make the keys for these doors with this lock and key module. But first thing we're going to do is go to our wall controls, and we're going to go down to this door. And we're just going to double click it, and we're going to go to the lock and key tab. So we're just going to look at these settings now inside of here. So is the object lockable? Yep, it's a door. Does it lock on close? So that just means exactly what it's asking you. Every time it closes, does it lock? No. I'm going to say no, that's not the case. ID of the keys, which can unlock and lock this door. So we're going to put that piece of information in here momentarily. Any passwords that can unlock the doors. Module is really cool. You can use passwords, but no, there's not. Password isn't changeable, and there is not an identity of an individual, a token, actor, or user that can open this by default. It just is only able to be opened with this shard, and that's it. We're not going to make the door jammable. What this function does is you can set it up to where if you have it pickable with lockpicks, after so many attempts, it's jammed, and then it can only be opened by breaking it down with a strength check. We're not going to deal with that with this door because it's a secret door. They won't even know it's there anyway. So the DC of the lock to pick it, we have it set to prevent lock picking by having this -1. But if we were to wanted it to be a pickable lock, we could set that DC wherever we needed to. A special lock pick, if there's anything that overrides the lock and key module's base settings over in the module settings, you would put it here. And then lock break DC. This is again a strength check. By putting it at -1, we're preventing any breaking from going on. Required lock picking successes. Should it require more than one success? Lock picking attempts left. How many are left? Again, this -1 you'll see is we're negating that. We're not using it. and can be circumvented. Now this one we're leaving checked. Why? Because I do want to allow the use of a knock spell. So should they find the secret door but are unable to find the key, or figure out that the key is usable in this moment, when they finish downstairs, they should be level 3. So if they come back through here, they will have the potential to find it should they do that and not continue to run for their lives. So how are we going to make this key? So let's do it this way. Let's go to our macros, and I have this lock and key game master folder where I've pulled the macros from the module in, and I'm going to create a new custom key. So it tells you here that let the key name be, and I've changed it already in here to Amber Shard, and let that key ID be Amber-Shard, and leave empty to default to a random ID. So you can also set the icon for this key, which I would like to do. So let's see, let me see if I can do it this way. Let me use my tile controls and come in here, and here we go. Let's see, copy that URL. All right, then I should just be able to paste that right in here. There we go. And that should do the trick. And then we're going to execute that macro. And then you'll see right here that we now have that key created for us. So I'm just going to copy this ID. Go ahead and close that. Close that. We'll go back to the walls. Double click in here. Go to my lock and key. The ID of the key is Amber Shard. I'm going to update that wall, and I'm going to make sure it's locked. So now when a player has that Amber Shard in their inventory and they go to unlock this door, it will unlock. If they don't, it'll tell them that they don't have the right key. And it's just that easy. And then we can drop this on the level 3 up here. We can go back to level 3. Oh, I went downstairs, wrong way. Go back to level 3 and come back into the jewelry box and drop that Amber Shard in there. And there we go. We can update the pile and we can leave. It's very, very straightforward. All right. So around in here, we don't really have anything more. Dusty shelves, sheets, bloop, bloop, bloop. All right. So that's the end of 12. We have the dumbwaiter. They don't really have anything going on in 12C. Description, really. Let me just double check rules as written. Make sure. Mr. Sweet. Yep, that's it. And the dumbwaiter, of course. So there we go. There's our master suite. So 13 is a bathroom. There's nothing in there. 14 is a storage closet. There is a animated broom of attacking. And that will stay in there. There's nothing else in there. So then we get into the 15s, right? So he really did a good job of just making 15 very creepy as far as things go. So what does he do? He removes the Specter. So rules as written, the Specter of the nursemaid Klara is in this room and the players can fight her. But he does something a little bit creepier here. He places her inside of the mirror, and the description is disgustingly wicked. I love it. I'm not going to read it, but it's a really just creepy, the nursemaid's Specter. So we're going to add that mirror. So let's hit the tile controls. And let's see if we can find ourselves a mirror. We're just going to go all the way out here. We'll search mirror. And hit this. Let's see what we get. Let's use this one. We'll just drag it on. There we go. Rotate it. And it's supposed to be in front of the secret door. So we'll put it right there. We'll maybe shrink it down just a smidge. and put it right in front of that secret door. There we go. And so she will appear inside of this mirror, looking all kind of funky. They'll be able to ask her questions, and she'll be able to answer any of them in like a yes or a no kind of a way, like shaking her head, because her mouth is stitched shut actually in Dragnacarta's, which is cool. So let me just skim, make sure I didn't forget anything. All right, so in the nursery, he says that there are red runes that cover the walls arranged in concentric circles around the crib in the center, which seems to have the name carved into its side, which is Walter. And then looking down, you notice a small object seems to have fallen beneath the crib. That small object is actually a finger that is in not a great way. Looks like a woman's finger with tooth marks on it. So I might actually drop that physical, maybe, but I think I'd probably just theater of the mind that one. At any rate, the nursemaid Specter does not appear in the room. Instead, when a player approaches the mirror, the nursemaid spirit appears as an apparition in the glass. And he goes on to give a very horrific description of what she looks like, and says that although the appearance is disturbing, she seems to look at the player characters with shy curiosity and is capable of answering basic questions by nodding or shaking of the head. If they ask for any aid in reaching the basement or finding the monster, the spirit steps aside, vanishing from sight. So we could do something cool with this where we maybe let's come back over to our actors and let's create an NPC actor here. We'll just call it a Specter in the mirror. And we'll put that in, put that in the L3 folder. There we go. And then we might be able to find some type of a cool image for a Specter. Let's see. Likely might have to make one later on. Let's see. How about we try ghosts and see if we get anything. I'm looking again. This is for portrait. It's not terrible. We'll use that for now. And likely, in all honesty, I will probably make something a little creepier in Midjourney. But for now, we'll use this. I just thought about doing something like this, which is why I didn't have this pre-made. But let's pop into the prototype token. We'll keep that never displayed. And then let's go all the way into our shared folder. Oops, that was tiles. We want tokens, forgotten adventures, creatures, undead. And then, yeah, that's what we want. We want something like that. Some kind of that looks pretty good. The Banshee, I think, is going to be the one that's going to get it, but we're just going to scroll down through the, yeah, it's absolutely going to be the Specter. Let's do the purple Specter. Purple pink. All right. So we have the Specter. We can update that token. Let's actually make the neutral because she is not aggressive. So let's update the token. And then if we put that here, I wonder what we can maybe do. Let's see if we can apply a really cool effect. There is a ghostly type of filter in here. Oh man, I wish I would have thought of this ahead of time. I would have known exactly what it was called and would have went right to it. There it is, spectral body. There we go. So we're using the macro wheel, which we've installed, right, a while back. And if I click on the token and hit my middle mouse button, then I get all of my options there, right? So I've got the Token Magic's Book of Fire and the Token Magic effects, and then all the Bailey Wiki stuff, right? That comes in exceptionally handy. So using the Token Magic effects, we applied the spectral body, wherever it was, spectral body filter onto the token so that we get this kind of cool ghost-like animation. However, I want to put some opacity to this to make it a little bit more kind of freaky. And then I want to figure out a way, let me shrink her down. Let's figure out a way to kind of make this look like she's actually inside of the mirror. Can we do that? What do you guys think? I think that could work pretty good. Probably make it just a smidge smaller. Don't want to make her too small. Definitely in the mirror. And then I'll tell you what, let's go back to the mirror and let's bump the size of the mirror just a smidge. We'll bump it back up. We bumped it 1, right? So it's a full length. Go back to the token layer. And let's just jam this guy just a little bit more. The hair is just what's putting me off just a bit. You can tell I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to placing things. There we go. How about that? I think that works pretty well. And then we can hide that. And we could put that on a button too. You know, if we wanted a button, we could make a monk's active tile button and drop it right down here. That would make that token visible. But I think that works really well. She actually looks like she's in the mirror. So that's good. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a little button real quick. Won't take but a second. So we'll just create the tile, come back into it. We're going to find, let's see if we have an on button somewhere in here. On is too short to actually do a search with. So let's see if we get anything with the word button. Hey, we do. We get lots of start stops and lock unlocks. So let's just use a button. Let's just use that button right there. Power button. Works for me. And let's apply it. And then let's fix the size of the token. And then we'll do everything we need to with the magic, right? So going into the triggers, we're going to make it for me on a double click, allow when paused, and the actions is going to be what everybody knows, right? It's going to be a show hide, right? So we'll do a show hide, and we're going to do a show. Let's do a toggle. We'll just do a toggle, and then let's do it tag, and we'll call it Klara's Ghost. Right, so now we're using tagger. So Klara's Ghost. Every term, we'll just leave it active scene because the scene should be active. You know what? I want to be sure. So I'm going to do all scenes because I just want to make sure. Sometimes when the reason I bounce back and forth, I kind of flop on that is because when I use Ben's maps, my players have the ability, specifically in Ben's maps, my players have the ability to kind of move between like map floors, rooms, spaces on their own. And sometimes that results in the active scene being, a scene or two back. So I'm going to just make sure that it's looking for the tag Klara's Ghost in all the scenes, and it just has to match every term. We're going to copy that. We'll save it. We'll update the button and apply it and update the tile. Let's just make sure we didn't get a duplicate. We didn't. And then we'll go back into the token and we're going to go to the token itself under identity, and we're going to pop that tag in there, Klara's ghost. Right. So now if I double click this, it's going to appear. And then if I double click it again, it's a toggle. So now it's hidden. Right. So that's it. It's done. And we'll just take this button and we'll pull it down here. We'll just stick it right here, and we'll put some text with it. That says show ghost, right? And then we have that where we want it. When we need it, we'll make sure that we hide that. And then with the button, pop back up to the tile. We'll just slide it up a smidge, and we will lock and hide that. And then we should be totally good to go. Yep, totally good to go. So now we're set. And we did a little extra, something I didn't anticipate doing. How about that? So yeah, level 3, pretty easy. Kind of a couple combats definitely are going to happen up here. At least one with the animated armor, potentially two with the animated broom. The encounter with the Specter, which is more of a social thing than a combat. Good exploration, cool stuff to find. They'll find these secret doors one way or the other. This one is very easy to find, and then of course this one reveals itself. If they ask the spirit about the monster or the basement, the spirit flees, the mirror slides to the side and reveals the secret door. So bingo. So that's it. Very quick and easy. I love them that way. Sometimes it makes prepping a lot better when they're a little quicker and easier. So next week we go up to the attic. There'll be a little bit more up there. Again, we're going to stay in the Dragnacarta rewrite for the Death House specifically. And we'll finish up the attic, and then we'll get talking about moving down to the basement and all the fun stuff that happens down there with the cult. So if you have any questions for me, put them down into the comments below. If you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments below. If you would rather see something besides Curse of Strahd, put it down in the comments below. If you find the video useful, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Join me as we prep games in Foundry currently, and probably other VTTs going forward. Anyway, I'm Greg. This is Tales from the Pythian. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.